Hey everyone, it's Jessica and I'm back with another process video for the Not Just for Boys Kit Club. Today I am using the Delight Page Kit and the Delight Essentials Kit and this gorgeous cut file that says You Color My World, which I am absolutely in love with. I was actually going to use this on a different layout. I had some photos with my kids when we visited the Crayola factory, and I was really going to use it for one of those photos, but then I saw these pictures from the spring of, I think 2021, of my oldest child, and he was riding this little train thing that kind of goes on this little track in the yard. And I just thought the colors of it and his face and how happy he was just perfect for this layout. So I'm going to use it for this. And I have started out with this background paper by Simple Stories from the Page Kit, and it's from the Simple Stories Pet Shop Cat Collection. But I just love both sides of this paper, so I'm going to use this quite wisely. What I've done here is I'm going to actually use a white background, but I really liked that background paper and how colorful it was, and I thought it matched perfectly. So I'm backing my cut file with it. As you can see, I just attached my cut file directly to my paper. I actually cut out a border from that paper and cut the middle out with my X-Acto knife so that I could use it to back my cut file, and then the rest of it I'm going to back my photos with. So I'm using that one piece of paper very, very wisely in this layout. So I tend to try and make good use of my papers that come in these kits, so I get quite a few layouts out of just one page kit. It's pretty likely for me to normally get, usually I can get like, I would say at least, probably at least 4 to 5 layouts per page kit. So I think that's pretty good. What I'm doing here is I am going to just layer my photos. I was going to layer them on the vertical like that, but then I decided I really like them horizontal instead. So I'm just going to layer them around the bottom like that. And then you can see my cut file is complete. I have cut the middles out of my cut file using that X-Acto knife again. And the outside letters I just trimmed around with scissors. So I glued it right down directly to my paper and then just trimmed it all out. It seemed to be the easiest way to back this one. And then for my photos, I'm just matting them with some smooth white cardstock from the kit, and then I am again using that piece of paper left over from the middle of my cut file, and I am going to use the back side of it this time because that is a gorgeous paper. I love both sides so much. It was really hard to choose which one to use on this layout, but I thought the color swatches would work better for this cut file, and it was just perfect. So I'm just distressing the edges a little bit of my photos. I'm going to layer them, kind of overlap them a little bit, trying to put them in order here as far as when he was traveling down that little track. And then this month's challenge is to use stamping and the back of the packaging on your layouts. If you guys have ordered anything from the Not Just for Boys Kit Club before, you know that things that come in the packaging from them, like these little stars laying there, on the back of the package has these little cut apart pieces. So I'm going to use some of those, and I'm also pulling out some of these little pink fresh circle stickers. I'm going to use those on my layout. I'm going to try to keep to kind of a circle-y type of design, but I'm going to do lots and lots of stamping, which if you've watched any of my videos before in the past, you know that I love stamping on my layouts. So I am going to use just some elements to enhance, but then lots of stamping to make my cut file and my photos really pop from this layout. So I also really like those little wooden stars. They're red. Red is not my typical color that I scrap. I tend to steer away from red, which is weird because I really love scrapbooking orange, which is oddly close to red. But for some odd reason, I shy away from using red. But today I'm going to use lots of it. So I'm starting this out by one of the stamp sets that Not Just for Boys carries. And this is like a circle type stamp set. It has these little cute circles in it. There's a couple of them, and then there's some wordy bits that you can stamp right in the centers of them, which I absolutely love. So I'm going to stamp a whole bunch of these. One says awesome, one says legit, and I can't remember offhand what the other one says. I think this is the other one coming up here. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of them, and then they have these little cute wordy bits in them as well. Oh, it says sick. That's what it says. I forgot. But I thought this stamp set was just so perfect for this, and the other one that I'm going to pull out too from the Kit Club is absolutely perfect, and I feel like it's made to go with this cut file and this page kit. It's just absolutely gorgeous, and I just love how it stamps. You're going to see it here in a minute. Those little round frames there that you see, I am going to actually separate. I'm only going to use the red one, but I'm going to stamp this inside, and this is the stamp that I absolutely love. It's kind of textured. It has a little bit of a design to it, and I just love it. I think it's so cool, and I love that the word colorful is broken apart, so you can actually use two different colors like I did, or you can stamp all the same color. You can line them up and kind of align them to the left or to the right, however you want to put them. And I love that it's separated, but I just chose to center mine. So these little circles here that I just did in the green, that was peeled paint ink, distress ink, and I actually dropped it on the left side there. So I did the same thing on the right side on purpose just to make it match. So anytime I mess up, I try to make it just like I meant to do it. And then it looks like I did it on purpose, and that's the whole way that I meant it to go. And here I'm stamping some kind of grungy splatters in red, which I also tend to steer away from because I don't want it to look like blood or anything. So I don't typically use stamps like that with red, but I loved the colors. I loved all the colors of this background paper, and I wanted to pull in all of those colors on my little splotchy ink blots behind my cut file. So I wasn't too worried about it looking anything grungy, like gory or anything like that. I thought this will all work out in the end because that cut file is going to cover up some of it anyways, and it's mainly just going to peek in and out from around my cut file. So I think it'll work out just fine for this one. And I wanted to pull in some more red from all of the other little red bits that I used on this layout too. So I'm tucking these little circular Pink Fresh Studio embellishments in the middles of those green stamped circles. And then here is some of the packaging I pulled out from one of my other kits. I just love the dark wood grain design, so I'm going to use a few little phrases from that and just kind of layer them around my photos and kind of keep them on towards the bottom of my page. So I love these little cut aparts. I love that the packaging is actually useful and it's not just something that you just toss and throw away. It's something that you can actually use in addition on your layouts, and I just think that's so clever, and I love that that they include that in our packaging. So I was going to use this giant happiness down here, but then I think, you know, I have enough stuff on this layout and I want to use another sticker on my color word that says happiness, so I'm going to shy away from that and not actually use that. So I'm sticking those little stars down at the bottom, and I'm going to pop that happiness right there because I really like that one. And this, I kind of have a play with these little wordy bits and these stars, and I end up just layering them at the bottom and then on that right side. So here I'm just kind of looking around and seeing the other embellishments. I'm combining both of the kits, so I'm combining the Delight Page Kit along with the Essentials Kit as well because they match together, and I'm using little bits from both of those kits, and then I'm using a whole bunch of different stamp sets. So these stamp sets here that I'm using are both from Not Just for Boys Kit Club, and then I'm actually going to pull in another stamp set from Close to My Heart as well, just to finish adding to the layout. And I want it to have lots and lots of stamping because that's what the challenge is, to use your stamps. So I'm going to use a lot of them. And I'm mainly stamping my wordy bits in just some black Soot distress ink. And then the other colors that I used were the red, I can't remember what the red is. It's laying there. I think it's Candied Apple, actually. Yeah, Candied Apple. And then the yellow is Mustard Seed. The green I mentioned earlier is the ink. It's not the oxide. The inks and the oxides are a little bit different. The inks are more transparent, which you don't notice it so much with a layout like this. But if you stamped the same color side by side, you would notice a little bit of a difference between the two because the oxides are not see-through. They're more of like a chalky finish. And you really tell a difference if you stamp them on black. So the oxides you would actually see, where the inks are transparent, so they would just blend right in with the black. You wouldn't see it. So they both react with water as well. So you can add water to them and kind of break them up and get some movement to them and have some really cool effects that way too. I didn't want to add water to this one though, because I have lots of wordy bits in there and it would mess up all my words and kind of make a whole big muddy mess of this layout because of all the colors. So I wasn't going to touch this layout with water. I did think about adding splatters, but for once in my life I did not add splatters because I have all those kind of splattery stamps right in the middle, so I didn't think it really needed any splatters. I'm using my big jumbo tape roll. This is the 3D foam tape from ThermoWeb, and I'm going to use that to place all around the back of my cut file so it pops up off the page for some dimension. And then I'm just going to glue all these stars down with some of my Nuvo glue, which you can grab in the shop. And I sped that out for you so you didn't have to watch me do all that tape. And then there you can see my little colorful stamp. I just love it. I think it's just so adorable, and it's definitely one that I'm going to use in the future too because I just love it so much. This little heart is from the embellishment pack, and I think that's in the page kit if I remember right. And I just popped it up using a 3D foam square. And then here I'm just gluing down everything else, making sure everything is stuck down really well. And I'm just going to add a few more stamps to this, and I'm going to stop talking now because it's pretty self-explanatory from here on out, and then I'm going to pop in again at the end and show you the finished result. So here is the finished layout. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and feel free to grab that kit from the shop. I will link it below for you. And I hope you guys enjoyed this and stay creative. And I hope I've inspired you to create something today, and have a great day. Thanks guys. Bye-bye.